Hi, my name is Matt Brandon. I'm founder and president of Union Services of America Limited, or USA Limited. USA is a brand new union with a brand new idea about servicing members and representing them in their workplace. I'm doing this video to reach out to you because I've gotten several questions from members about USA. So I'm going to go over some of those questions that you've provided me. You'll see me glance off to my left every now and then. I have them on the table. And as I get more sophisticated with this, I'll be able to have teleprompters and everything, so you'll never see me look away, so bear with me. Okay. Question number one, why should we go with USA? USA is a new union that wants to change the method of representation. Your current union wants you to represent yourself. USA Limited has attorneys, and we plan to use our attorneys at your grievance hearings and at your contract negotiations. Your union, SEIU, doesn't do that. SEIU has 3 attorneys on staff, and very rarely, if ever, do you see them anywhere except arbitration. You will have a USA attorney throughout your representational needs. Number 2, will I lose my pension or will it be messed up? And the answer to that is no. You will not lose your pension by switching unions, by voting to join USA Limited. Nothing changes for you. Your pension, your benefits, they all stay the same while the negotiation process goes on. Whether it's USA negotiating for you or SEIU Local 73 negotiating for you, until a successor agreement is completed, everything remains the same. USA Limited wants to be at the table for you. We want to bring an attorney to you. Right now, you know you don't have one. Will I lose, how does that affect our contract that expired in 12/31? And by that, I think you meant how does changing unions affect your contract that expired? Well, that contract is expired. And right now you're in the process of negotiating a new successor agreement. So nothing will be affected by you changing to USA Limited. The only thing that will change are the people at the table. And the people at the table will be an attorney, your bargaining committee, and I'll be there with you every now and then to make sure that the process goes well. How are we protected if our contract expired and we're in good faith negotiations? If you're in good faith negotiations, all the terms and conditions remain the same, and the same would apply if you elected a new union. What does decertify mean? Now this is very important because SEIU has people going around telling them that if you decertify, you will be out of a union for a year. All right, let's get this down right. What USA Limited is trying to do is get you to move to an election so that you can select between your current union or Union Services of America Limited. If we move to that point where there's an election called by the Illinois Labor Relations Board, then what happens is you will receive a ballot. And on that ballot, and excuse me for 1 second, I'm going to reach for one. All right, we're back live. So I'm going to go back to the question. And your question was about decertification, and you wanted to know what it meant. To decertify a union requires you to vote your current representative out. And by that I mean you would have to vote for no union. What USA Limited is in the process of doing is trying to secure at least 1/3 of your current workforce on cards of interest, so that we can go to an election. An election would be called by the Labor Relations Board at that point. Now, once an election is called, you will receive a ballot in the mail. And what I'm going to hold up here is a sample ballot, and this is a ballot that's currently going through the city of Chicago right now. Now, if you can see this ballot, at the bottom there are 3 positions. On this ballot, the X is already in the box for USA Limited. The next box is for SEIU Local 73. And the third box is for no union. Now, if the majority of the workforce votes for no union, you are then decertifying SEIU Local 73, and you will have no representation for a year. But if the majority of the people vote for USA Limited, then USA Limited will become your representative the very next day. So what SEIU is saying to you is absolutely false. If you vote for USA Limited, you will not be decertifying. You will be electing USA Limited. Your next question is pretty easy. You ask what would the union dues be? The union dues would be $20 a pay period. And right now I know with SEIU most of you are all over the map, but all of you pay more than $20 a pay period. And you ask what would the dues be allocated to? Well, as in every organization, your dues money will be allocated to pay for staff salaries, to pay for rent, to pay for all those things that come with servicing you as members, equipment, phones, light, etc. What we also want to do, though, is we want to use a portion of your dues to create a real strike fund. A strike fund that would pay you your salary while you are on strike. Of course, this will take a little time to build, and the larger the union gets, the easier it will be to build this fund. But right now, your current union, SEIU Local 73, has a strike fund that would pay you $50 a day if you participated in picketing activities, or if you participated in some type of union activities while you were on strike. You know that everyone wouldn't be able to get $50 every day. They couldn't pay that. Well, I shouldn't say they couldn't, they could, but they spend your millions of dollars on other things. We want to make sure that you have a real strike fund so that you can strike when you have to strike. SEIU knows that they can't strike. Your employer knows that you can't strike. Union Services of America Limited wants to make sure that you can, and that's what part of your dues will be allocated for. What if Union Services of America Limited disbands or is in over their head? Listen, folks. Union Services of America Limited has no intention to disband. This is a brand new union. We're going to change unionism in your workplace today. We're not in over our heads. Union Services of America Limited has 2 seasoned labor attorneys, Bob and Julie Trevarthen, who have committed to helping build this union and to service the members as we grow. I myself have 16 years of service, and a lot of you know me. I'm well experienced in what I do. I know how to represent members, and I've spent my time getting members back to work off of layoff, off of terminations, off of suspensions, and satisfying their grievances. So USA is here to stay, and USA is going to grow. And what we want is for you to be a part of that growth factor and come aboard. How many other bargaining units do you represent? Again, USA is a brand new union. Right now, we're in the process of going through an election for approximately 200 City of Chicago workers. That election is being done now. On February 15th, those ballots will be counted, and we expect USA Limited to have approximately 200 brand new members. That will be the first step of growing this union. You also wanted to know why cards are needed to be signed, okay? Well, the cards, and I'll show you one. The cards are utilized by the Labor Board as a showing of interest, and they're also utilized by the Labor Board as a guard against fraud. And by that I mean, if cards were just to be turned in by people who wanted to represent you as a union, then people could sit down and fill out the cards and sign your name and send them in. But what the labor board requires, and this is a good thing, is that the cards are filled out by you, signed by you, and then sent to the labor board. The labor board, upon recognizing that a majority of the workers are ready to vote for a new union, will then notify the employer that it wants their employee list. They will get the employee list that has your signature, and at that point they compare the cards to the signatures. That helps put off any possibility of fraud, and I think it's a good thing. A lot of things are going on and going around and being said by SEIU, okay? Most of them are lies, if not all of them. I'm ready at any time to sit down beside anybody at SEIU and have this conversation. I am ready to debate them, and I am ready to dispute all the falsehoods that they're putting out here. You will not lose your pension. You will not lose your contract. You will not lose your benefits if you switch unions during the process of negotiations, or if you switch unions after the ratification of a contract. The Illinois Labor Board requires that the employer bargain in good faith with the union that you select to represent you. So we want to represent you. USA Limited wants to represent you. You know, with SEIU, they want you to represent yourselves. A lot of your union dues goes to pay for these international types that you've seen running around here that are filling the offices of SEIU Local 73, instead of being spent on you. SEIU Local 73 talks about how they brought the budget in the black. Well, any idiot could do that if you fire all of the staff. And all of the staff that they fired is staff that represented you. I had some problems with some of them, and I was going to fire some of them, but they went way overboard. And they fired them, and they're bringing more people in from the international to close out those spaces at a higher salary. So you can stay with SEIU, and you can listen to the lies about how big they are and what leverage they have. That old saying, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. That applies here. USA Limited is ready to fight for your rights, and we're not going to tell you to fight for yourself. So now, it's time to make up your mind what you want to do. Thank you very much.